up, Drupes? Welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is FIFA 20. And what we're checking out today is I'm going to pick the best player who I think, the best FUT 20 player in every single Premier League team. Now, that doesn't mean they're necessarily the top rated player. What I want to pick is who I think is going to be most useful if you're building a Premier League team, and who I think is the best player from that team is going to be to put in there. So, and I can only pick one. So some clubs have got like 3 or 4. If you look at Man City, for example, there's probably 5 or 6 players who you could put in a good Premier League team. However, I'm just picking who I think is the top one, or the one who I think should be the most sought after. So it's not always the most expensive, not always the top rated, but who I think is the best for an FUT 20 team. But before we do that, guys, make sure that you subscribe to the video and drop a like on the video down below. I'd love to have you as part of the channel. And if you want to be super awesome, then you can put a share on the video somewhere like Facebook. I've not got a Facebook account, so if you guys share on Facebook, you're doing me a massive favor. Twitter, anything like that is a huge help. But without further ado, let's jump in and start rating these players. Okay then, so first up then we've got Aubameyang. So Aubameyang from Arsenal. I'm going to try and do this in alphabetical order if we can of the club, so we'll try it from there. But the first one's Aubameyang. 94 pace is just insane, and he's also got 85 shooting as well. His dribbling's only 80. There are a lot of strikers who've actually got much better dribbling than what he's got. So if you're someone who likes to run into the box, then maybe Aubameyang's not for you. 85 shooting as well is not up there with like Harry Kane or Vardy and people like that. However, 94 pace just makes him absolutely destructive when it comes to breaking out of defenses. So if he's trying to break a defensive line, trying to get in behind a defense, then this guy is definitely the man when it comes to it. Anyone who's used Aubameyang in FIFA 20 will absolutely know that this guy is an absolute beast and one of Arsenal's finest. You know, what a great player. The only thing on there is physical's only 69, which it can get pushed off the ball pretty easy, but you're not really going for physical battles. You know, if you're going to have someone who's got a lot of dribbling, then you're going to want physical on there as well. But because he's not really a dribbler per se, he's more of a, you know, get in behind fast and shoot. This guy's just primed to do well in any FUT 20 team. Which takes us on to our next club, and a player who actually is a bit more like what we just said. So this is Wesley over at Aston Villa. And at Aston Villa, Wesley's got 88 physical. So if you look at his physical there in comparison to Aubameyang, it's much, much higher. This guy's tough. He's really good at running at players. Now, his dribbling's not great. His passing's pretty bad, to be fair. If you tried passing around as someone who passes around in the box, he's not great. But when it comes to physical, if you're someone who likes to push that back line, who doesn't like to get in behind, who likes to push their way through, Wesley's a pretty solid choice. He's probably, for me, the best starting striker. So if you're just starting out in FIFA 20 and you want a good starting striker for cheap, then Wesley is a great buy. If you look at his pricing on there as well, this is prices from yesterday, so they could have fluctuated a tiny bit, but you can pick him up for as little as 700 coins, 800 on the Xbox. But he's absolutely beastly when it comes to it. And in my starting team, when I first got a Premier League team, Wesley was definitely the man when it came to it. One defender who I find it really hard to replace, someone, do you know, it was one of you guys in the comment who said, do you know, use Ake instead from Bournemouth and try and, you know, see what you can get from that. He's so good. This guy's so sticky when it comes to attackers trying to break through. He always seems to be in the right place. I don't know if there's like a positioning marker on him or something like that, or if he's got a positioning skill, but he's so good at breaking up attacks. If you look at this guy's pacing's okay. For a centre-back, it's pretty decent. Centre-backs don't really rely on pace unless you're going for a quick snap, but 75 is actually pretty high for a centre-back. His physical 77, again, not the highest on there. Usually with a defender like this, you go for physical and defense, and he's not got the highest physical and the highest defense, which is why I missed him. I think at first it was you guys that said, you know, try this guy out, but he's absolutely godly when it comes to being in game. And at that price, 800 coins on the PlayStation, 750 on the other platforms, you just honestly can't miss him. If you've got a Prem team and you've got anybody else in, you have to make sure that them 2 centre-backs, they must be godlike, because this guy is definitely up there. I think even when I get a dream team put together, which I've not finished yet, but when I do, this guy's definitely going to be in there. Next up then from Brighton and Hove Albion, the best keeper that I could find in there, the best player I could find in there was the keeper, and he's actually got pretty good stats. For the price, I mean, look at this 550 max, which is on the PlayStation. 81 diving, 82 kicking, which again is not you know, needed, it's not desperate, but look at that, 83 reflexes, which is insane. His only downside is his positioning 78. A lot of other keepers will have more than that, so his positioning sometimes leaves him stranded, especially if people are running into the box in pairs and the striker just, you know, passes it across. But then not many keepers can get to them kind of shots anyway. That's kind of a given goal with the current meta. But this guy, as I said, if you want someone to hold your own in a good cheap FIFA team, then Ryan, for the price, is an absolute steal and a great player as well. Next up then we've got Goodmanson. So Goodmanson, 550 max, that's all you're going to pay for him on Xbox. Really, really good right midfielder. He's quite pacey, 75. He's got dribbling, 77. And he's just an all-round excellent player. With Burnley as well, they've actually got a couple of decent players like this who are good. You know, 78 passing as well from a right midfielder. If you're someone who cuts in, he's not really good for the crosses, but if you're someone who cuts in a lot, so plays down the wing and then tries to cut in, then, you know, Goodmanson's actually going to hold up really, really well, and he's going to slot into your play style perfectly. Then we've got Kante, who we've got absolute beast of a player. We talked about earlier needing good defense and good physical. Look at that, 87 defense and 83 physical. That is just nuts. And that is just, like I said, that just kind of states what kind of player he is. He's very hard to get through. He's very expensive, don't get me wrong. You're looking at kind of De Bruyne money there. You know, he's a top-end player, but a rating of 89. He's a really hard-working player as well. He's someone who, you know, will be all over the pitch if that's what you want him to do, if you set your tactics that way. But Kante for Chelsea is one of the best players in the game. Which takes us on to Crystal Palace then. This was a no-brainer for Crystal Palace. Zaha is just an absolute beast. And look at that, pace 91. When we talked about Aubameyang, he's kind of like a poor man's Aubameyang. Because if you look at that, 91 pace, 87 dribbling, this guy is going to cause problems for any defense. I don't care what people say, 26,250 on PC and 25,000 on PS4. This guy is just an absolute steal. He's kind of like a poor man's Aubameyang, being able to get in behind those lines. But this guy is just an absolute game changer. I would change him from a CF to an ST, depending on what tactic you use. You know, sometimes you might need to do that with him. But this guy is an absolute beast. And he's physical as well, 74. If that was a little bit higher, it would be the best striker in the game. If the physical was, say, I don't know, about 80, 82, he would definitely be, that would be a total game changer. He'd be up there with the best of them. You know, he'd definitely be like Aubameyang prices. The only thing is he can get pushed off the ball fairly easily. He's terrible at tackling, so if it comes to like getting the ball off people up front, this guy's not your guy. 27 defense is awful, and I know people think attackers don't need defense, but it does help a little bit. Sometimes you get them scuffles up front, and that one goal where you snatch that ball away can make all the difference. You know, Zaha's not going to be getting that. But Crystal Palace have got a mean striker when it comes to him, and he's someone who would fit very nicely in any sort of Premier League team as well. For a while, I was running Wilson and Zaha up front, and I was winning games quite regularly just because this guy had cut through the back line. Everton then. So next for Everton, we've got Pickford. There was a few plays for Everton. Like I said, I'm not going for the always for the top rated player. I'm not going for the most expensive player or the one who's got the best rating. I'm just going for who slots best into a team. But Pickford's quite a solid choice in goal. He's got 87 kicking, he's got 82 diving, 86 reflexes, which is great, and 82 positioning. So he's really good for the price that you can get him for. He should be, most people will have Pickford as a starter keeper just because it makes perfect sense. Less than 2,000 coins, this guy's an absolute steal. If you've got anyone in who's, you know, you're not sure about, anyone like that, even Schmeichel, you know, Schmeichel's a great keeper. But if you have a look, and I don't mean the icon Schmeichel, but if you have a look at this at Pickford's stats, someone who's really good and really solid between the sticks. Now, this was a tough one because you've got like Vardy, you've got other players at Leicester, but this one for me is one who absolutely stands out. His work rate in the game is insane. It's high and high. It's Ricardo Pereira, and what he's actually got in there is 86 pace. Bear in mind, he's a right back, so really good for on the, you know, if you're someone who pushes the right backs forward or the wing backs forward, then he's got 86 pace, passing 77, which is great if you're going to be cutting in, 81 dribbling, which is fantastic. That's up there with the likes of like Ozil and people like that. All right, he's got slightly higher, but still, it's still really good. And physical 73. This guy is really good, and again, can cause massive problems when it comes to defenses. A lot of people start off with like Angelino to start with, and then they'll move over to Pereira later on once they've got the money up to get him. But even then, even at the money that he's at, so 9,700 coins maximum, which is on Xbox, even at just under 10,000, we'll call it, he's still an absolute steal, and he's a great first choice for a right back. Liverpool's was an easy one. I just think Van Dijk's an absolute awesome player when it comes to being at the back. You know, when it comes to a centre-back, he's got everything that you need. I said you need defence and physical. Physical 86, defense 90, and he's got pace 77. He's perfect. And if you push him forward as well, he's great for getting the headers. He's tall. He's actually a great header of the ball at the same time. This guy, although he's crazy expensive, 815,000 coins on PC, and he's 612,000 on Xbox, he's still an absolute steal. One of the best value for money players that you're going to get out there. Okay, I think for most people, this guy was going to make the list. And don't forget, this is all personal preference. You may have someone in this list who you think, you know, I wouldn't pick him for Man City. I wouldn't pick him for Arsenal. Make sure you comment down below, guys, and let me know who you would pick instead of the ones that I've picked. But I would definitely go for De Bruyne. I've not put special cards into this. His special card is even more insane. But for this price, against, if you look top price on their PC, 487,000 coins. But he's got 92 passing. 92 passing with 76 pace, 87 dribbling, 78 physical, he can hold his own. This guy is a complete game changer. This guy is going to change the complete makeup of your team, the complete build of your team. He's a lot like Hazard used to be on the last FIFA. He's just someone who can absolutely change everything. And De Bruyne is, again, one of the best value for money players at that price that you can possibly get. The fact that he's got all these inform cards out, you know, and he's got all the special cards out around him, actually makes his base card a lot cheaper, which is great, because I would probably pay double that if there was no other special card out there. But De Bruyne is one of the best Premier League players at the moment in real life, you know, let alone in the game. But as I said, let's move on. So Man City rivals, then Manchester United. Absolutely great player we've got here is Pogba. Rashford's another good choice, but I was toying between the two on which would fit best into a team. But as a centre midfield with 85 dribbling, 86 physical, 86 passing, is just an absolute beast. Again, his shooting's 81 as well. This guy's dangerous in midfield. If you have a Pogba in your team, you're going to have a dangerous Premier League team. And although he's really expensive, he's not as good value for money as some of the others. He is an 88 card, but do you know, I wouldn't probably rate him as an 88 card personally. That's just me personally. But overall, as a player, Pogba is an absolute beast of a player. He's in real life again as well. Someone who, you know, when you're watching Man United play, he's a player who you've got your eye on. And he's just someone who's really good in the FUT 20 as well. Definitely worth picking up if you can get the coins to get him. If you are struggling with the coins to get him though, guys, don't forget, go and check out my 400 method video. It'll be in the screens at the end of this video, and I'll link it down below as well. But use that 400 method and you'll be able to buy players like this on the regular. So Newcastle United then we've got Almiron. Almiron's great, you know, cheap little player that we've got on there as well. Pace 89, dribbling 81. Whatever position he's going to be in, that's going to be put him in good stead, as long as he's not a defender, for example. But on the left wing, 89 pace, 81 dribbling. His passing leaves a little bit to be desired. Sometimes his passes fall short, or his passes don't quite get there. But if you're playing as a you know, a human being player, not the AI, then Almiron's actually better, because you can pick your passes out. You can weight the passes on there. So the passing's not as big a deal as a stat as what it is, you know, on some others. Now, if it's coming down to an AI kind of header, for example, an AI pass, then yeah, Almiron does fall short a little bit. But as a human-controlled player, Almiron's an absolute beast, and he's a great player to have there on your left wing. You can also drop him back to left midfield. He's just as effective, and he just works really well. And again, in real life, another player who really shines at Newcastle. Norwich then we've got Farman, another great keeper. He's got 84 reflexes, which is absolutely great, and 82 diving, which is fantastic. He's not quite up there as good as Pickford is. His positioning 79, which again can leave him stranded sometimes, like we've seen with some of the other keepers. And I've not got many goalkeepers on this, but Norwich keeper, you know, Farman is absolutely brilliant. He's a great keeper in real life as well. Some games I've seen, you know, as a Sheffield United player, we've been with Norwich some of the time when we've been in other leagues and when we've come up with Norwich and things like that. And you know, Norwich definitely have a goalkeeper right now that stands out, and I've seen him save them from many a game, which has meant they've gone on to be able to win. And you know what, everyone loves an underdog, and for that reason I've always got a soft spot for Norwich, and I just think Farman is an absolutely great keeper and someone who deserves to be up there with the best of them in FUT 20. And then we've got the mighty Blades. Now, look, I'm a big Sheffield United fan, and there are several players you could use at Sheffield United, and they've got like 4 gold players up there as well who are pretty decent. But if you're going to have an FUT team, then Robinson's the one who I would go for. He's the only one I think who fits in with the other players who we've been looking at. He's got pace 85, which means he can still break defenses. Shooting 72, again, lower than the gold cards, but still decent for what he is. Dribbling 74. Jim, and don't forget, this guy's a striker, so that's pretty decent as well. And physical 60. His physical's a little bit low. Would like to see his physical a little bit higher. But overall, for the price, he's good. Look, PlayStation, get it. 3,100 coins on the PlayStation, 1,300 on Xbox, and 950 on PC. He's one of my favourite players at the lane anyway. I'm a big Sheffield United fan, and he's one of my favourite players at Bramall Lane. But then I could list you like 10 players now. I'll just pick them all. Get Billy Sharp, get them all. But, you know, I definitely am a huge fan of Robinson, and I think, although he's a silver card, I think they should have bumped his physical up a little bit, bumped his passing up. So maybe I was thinking like 68 passing and maybe 72 physical. That you'd get a more realistic card then, and then make him a gold card, and then Robinson would be right where he needs to be in real life. And that's someone who's watched him play as well. So down at Southampton then we've got Genepo. He's pretty decent, 88 pace, super fast. His dribbling there is 79. Again, I'm not always just going for the gold cards or the players that are worth the most. As I said, sometimes I look at players and I just think that guy would slot into my team. And this guy's a left midfield, 88 pace. No one's going to be catching him, you're going to have an extremely pacey wing-back or extremely solid centre-backs to stop this guy. Now, I wish his passing was a little bit higher. A lot like, we saw on Robinson, his passing's not quite where it needs to be. But again, he's still a really solid pick. 79 dribbling with 88 pace is absolutely perfect. And he's someone who would fit into a lot of starter teams when it comes to making your FUT 20. Tottenham then, I was kind of toying between Harry Kane and Eriksen, but then I looked at Eriksen. He's definitely the stronger player for me. He's definitely the one I would pick first. If I could only pick one player from Tottenham, Eriksen would be my choice. If I could only pick one from each team, then I would definitely go for Eriksen because he's got passing 90, which is just nuts. He's got dribbling 84. His pace is decent. Do you know what? For his age and everything else and how Eriksen is, I think 73 pace is great. And he's physical. That's the only thing, again, I like players that are a bit more physical. I like to keep my team above like 70 physical just because I think if you get into a bit of a ding-dong in the middle of the park, you kind of need that. And this guy as a cam, he's going to be in there. He's going to be stuck in the middle of it. But 63 physical, passing 90, 81 shooting. This guy's, again, he's going to cause huge disruptions. I think his name's carrying the price a little bit. Personally, I think Eriksen for this game, I think he should be worth probably between 50 and 70,000 coins would be more realistic. I think he is a little bit overpriced, especially on PC at 145,000. But the reality of it, we all know Eriksen. Eriksen is just a legend amongst Tottenham fans and other players alike. And he's someone who is going to slot into any team. He's just a great player, great passer of the ball, and someone who's just in his time when it comes to it can be an absolute genius. And then we've got Watford, Cory. Cory is someone at Watford who is so underrated. He's at the other end of the scale. He's someone who should be worth a lot more. This guy probably, for me, is probably worth anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000, I think. Just because, look at that physical. Physical 82, defense 79. It's just really hard to get through. Do you know when you've got Cory on the pitch as a CDM, you can definitely tell. Now, there are some other players, like I said, like Sherratt, you could put in there instead. You've got Henderson from Liverpool you could put as a CDM. He makes a good CDM. But Cory, if I feel that the attackers on the midfield are breaking through too often, I still have Cory on the bench and I bring him on because he's just an absolute stopper. He's a run stopper. When they're trying to get through, Cory is just an absolute genius when it comes to stopping the ball. Then we move over to West Ham, and for West Ham, that's a terrible accent, but for West Ham, we've actually got Felipe Anderson. 30,000 coins, great player, super pacey, again on the wing, 88 dribbling, and he's got shooting 77 with 79 passing. This guy, to be fair, has got it all. Physical, again, not quite as high as what I would like it, but overall, this guy has got the lot. If you're someone who plays a fast-flowing passing game, someone who likes what Ruud Gullit would call the sexy football, then Felipe Anderson has got it all. I mean, do you know what? It's great to watch at West Ham anyway. Someone who's a great player. He's great to watch and keep an eye on, and he's someone who's I just think he's got huge potential going forward. I think in future FIFAs, so in FIFAs of the future, this guy definitely could get himself up to a 90 card. Whether he stays at West Ham, moves around, or whatever it is, I hope he does stay at West Ham. I like it when players kind of stick to the roots. But we'll see, as I said. But this guy, Felipe Anderson, is an absolute steal. Even at 35,000 on PC, an absolute bargain at the price. Which takes us on to our last player then, which is João Martino. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, but he's playing at Wolves, 82 dribbling, 85 passing. Do you know what? For Wolves, you don't expect to find players like this in there, and what an absolute beast of a player he is. He's a special card, so he's a rare card that you've got on there. He's an 84, and he definitely should be. I mean, with those kind of stats, and with the defense, with the shooting, with everything that he's got on there, this guy's really good. His work rate is good as well, and he's someone who's going to definitely play his heart out for you when you put him in. Now, there are lots of centre midfielders. I play with CDMs and cams, so I don't really have CMs in my particular FUT team, but if I did, this is definitely a player I would look at, and look at the price. I mean, you cannot go wrong for that. It's under 4,000 coins. Again, these prices are as at yesterday. I just think that's absolutely brilliant. I just think this player in his own right, would slot into any FUT team. No one's gonna roll their eyes at you or go, oh God, you've got a Wolves player in there. Again, great player. My partner, my fiance, she's a Wolves fan as well, and definitely a player that stands out when we watch them play. But guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd absolutely love to know. Maybe you've got a player who I've missed, or maybe you might think, God, at Liverpool, how did you miss this player? Or I'm a Norwich fan and you didn't pick this player. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. That's what I would love to see. One thing that I'm loving at the minute is on some of the FIFA videos, you guys are putting what teams you support and things like that, and I love that. So any information like that, let me know, because it absolutely makes my job 1,000 times better. But massive thanks for watching, guys. If you're not part of the Litanah Army already, hit that subscribe button. You've got nothing to lose. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. It's easy to forget, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching this today, guys.